schedule.
No
Before
problem.
we start, yeah, thank you. Before we start, congratulations on your win for the presentation award for 2023.
Thank you
Well
so
deserved.
much.
All right.
There was some tough competition that day.
I bet. So just have a few questions for you. Won't keep you too long.
Perfect.
So how would you summarize your presentation in just a couple of minutes for those who were not able to be with us in Barcelona last November?
Okay, so I think for me, the presentation was almost like a splicing together of sustainability drivers within the lubricants industry, but also it was a little bit of a showcase of the work that we're doing at Cargill, really, in order to alleviate some of the demands that our customers are seeing as a result of those sustainability drivers. I wanted to begin the presentation with a little bit of a rallying of the troops, just to show that addressing the world's challenges, as I mentioned previously, particularly with respect to decarbonisation and sustainability, it can only happen through collaboration and by companies working together. So I also wanted to highlight that the lubricants industry has a vital role to play in helping the world to achieve and meet the demands that we're seeing to achieve a more sustainable future. So the lubricants that we develop are keeping the world turning and moving. You know, they deliver improved fuel economy. The list is endless. So it was a little bit of a rallying the troops exercise to start with. And then what I wanted to move on to in the presentation was the importance of product design and in helping to really build in those optimal intrinsic sustainability credentials that minimize environmental impact. And then I wanted to cover the outstanding in-use benefits that equally as important in terms of product design, if not the most important when it comes to discussing products with customers. So designing additives and base fluids now, it's a complete balancing act between getting that intrinsic sustainability demand and those properties in there, but also delivering the performance that our customers require in their applications. So it's about hitting that sweet spot between the three actually: safety, sustainability, and performance. The second half of the presentation was really a way to sort of showcase esters. And as Cargill, we really wanted to show that esters provide a really good way of meeting that sweet spot. So you can build in sustainability credentials through their sourcing and their manufacture. You know, you can make them highly bio-based, really good biodegradability. But that also, I wanted to show that you're not compromising on the performance aspects as well. So esters are really, really good at delivering low traction, really good efficiency in applications. And in this presentation in particular, it was focusing on electric vehicle transmission fluids. So a little bit of everything: a whistle-stop tour, sustainability and performance of esters.
Yeah, there's a lot of information in just that summary. So I can only imagine how much people that weren't able to be with us must have missed out on. It was a bit of a shame, but hopefully they can catch you again, maybe on one of our next conferences, and they can have a little discussion with you about it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what advice would you give somebody who wants to follow in your footsteps? Do you have any tips for putting together and delivering your presentations at all?
It's a really, really tough question for me, because I'm always somebody who questions themselves, and I always feel really, really nervous and anxious before presentations, like the heart pounds. But I think the only advice I could give would be to tell the story, just be authentic, and let your enthusiasm and core passion just really shine through. Sounds really cheesy, but if you really understand what you're going to be presenting about, but if you let that enthusiasm really shine through, then it just sort of comes naturally. You just sort of can't stop yourself from talking and waffling, basically, once you get going, and it's something that you're really passionate about.
It helps keep people engaged as well when you're that
hopefully
when you're that passionate about your project and you're doing the presentation, and it definitely gets people engaged. You can feel that with some of the presentations that people give at the conferences, because we do it in some different industries, we can chat with some different people, so you definitely see it quite a lot. But it's nice to have people that aren't so confident be able to feel like they feel so scripted, and it's nice to have people like yourself tell them that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, yeah. Hopefully that came across, because I do get really nervous and anxious. I think it's natural too, but
Yeah, if you really want it, you really care about it, you will,
it just flows.
Yeah. So do you feel like that there is enough being done to increase the representation of women at these industry events?
Honestly, I would say I do think that there is a lot being done, but we can always improve. So
Yeah.
you can see the number of females now in attendance at these sort of events. Whenever I attend, I do subconsciously, I think, just do that glance around. I can't help it. And you do sort of do a quick scan, and you can see that the numbers of females now in the rooms at these particular events it is steadily going up. There have been some specific events. So I think the UKLA did a great Women in Lubricants conference a couple of years ago. The ACI have the Women in Focus Awards, which I think is really helping to fly the flag and to raise the profile. And I think there was one last week at ISIS. They have, dedicated sessions where women are encouraged to speak up and inspire others and empower successes. So I do think it is getting better. Like when you look, showing my age now, but like 10 years ago when you used to attend, it was very male dominant, and it still is, but I do think it is improving. There are some fantastic names out there now, and Valentina Sarah Holm, who sort of chaired the UEIL Sustainability Committee, when she speaks, it's just phenomenal. There's some great females out there, and my female colleagues at Cargill are all absolutely phenomenal. So I do see the momentum building, and I do see it getting better.
Yeah, get year by year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll just get to that level where everyone's happy with what's going on, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they are now. It's just there's always more that can be done.
Yeah, you do find yourself sort of sitting there, and so I'm not like a a railing feminist, but you do find yourself just sort of looking around and try and do like a little count up of the women in the room. But
usually it's probably broadly male dominated, isn't it, in these industries? So you don't tend to get too many at the moment.
Definitely fair to say that.
Yeah. And finally, what can you tell us about the focus of your work at Cargill for 2024 for this year?
So I think for me, it's a little bit of the same. So it's understanding the challenges that customers face, particularly with respect to sustainability. So the demands that are being placed on customers are ever increasing. So it's about really, really discussing with them and understanding their needs, and then obviously feeding that back into our business, back into the energy technologies and the R&D teams, utilising the expertise we've got in ester chemistry, bio-based building blocks, and really sort of developing those high performance solutions really to those needs. Particular focus on future powertrains, industrial lubricants. As I'm sure you well know, there's loads and loads of challenges in those areas that we're really, really eager to understand and help solve and work on together.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time to be with us here today. And once again, congratulations for winning the Presentation of the Year award. Very well deserved.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.